he didn't have to drop much weight before this fight because he stayed away from Colombia.
And we see the rules for this minor title fight, but this is everything from Miranda and the litmus test for Ward. Ready to go here in Oakland. Crowd finally settling in. Hope you're enjoying it at home. Andre Ward goes right at Edison Miranda. Miranda in black. He's looking to read and react a little bit, and Ward said, forget about it, I'm not going to run around the ring. And Miranda's told us, I think he's going to run around the ring and try to hold me.
In terms of bouts, almost the same, but of course, Andre Ward hasn't lost a fight since he's 14 years old. And Miranda much more experienced, not that many more rounds because he had so many quick knockouts in Colombia.
Bad endings from Miranda recently in major fights. Miranda got to get that jab going. Big key, Steve.
Big key for sure. And keep in mind, Andre Ward can switch and does switch to southpaw. Miranda's faced only one lefty his entire career.
And had that training. He had the good sparring with Daniel Santos.
Accidental headbutt. Accidental headbutt.
All right, Miranda using his head again.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
Well, we saw it in the highlights against Abraham. He was penalized for that and low blows, a total of 5 points. Look, blood now on above Andre Ward. Left eye. Will he fight with a little more urgency now?
Remember, Miranda was penalized 2 points for an intentional butt against Arthur Abraham.
And he's cut. Ward is cut above the left eye. And he can feel it. He's wrapping to the body now. Miranda trying to get aggressive. He's got that huge right hand. But Jose Bonilla wants him to throw the left hook because nobody looks for it. We'll see.
Well, Nick, Miranda's been in these kind of fights again and again. Ward hasn't. It's up to Miranda to make this that type of fight again.
Oh, but they've been so draining. And I think that's the chess match here. Will Ward engage him enough? It looks like he is. He's not just fighting fast and getting out. It's a small ring, Steve. Look at the blood from Ward now. Again, that cut rule may come into play. It's pretty bad.
He's blinking.
It's above the eyebrow, but it's trickled past his eye and down his cheek.
And Ward has Stitch Duran in his corner. If he gets through these next 40 seconds, the best of the business.
Look at Miranda just waiting instead of firing shots. He had Ward, now Ward switches. He had Ward lined up, and he's hesitating too much, Steve.
Well, there's been more action in this first round than I would have anticipated.
From Ward, I feel.
I agree, and the question is it because of the cut?
Andre Ward said he's ready to face adversity, and he's got a little bit already. In the first round, he's bleeding. Edison Miranda has not landed much. He's mocking Ward a little bit. Oh, that blood. We'll watch the corner.
Ward finishes as a lefty. I don't recall him being cut before, Nick. He may have been. Stitch Duran goes to work.
Why wouldn't it be like this? Huh? You in charge of this fight is nothing. It's real small. It's real small. Now let's get that water to him. Let's get that water to him. Let's get that mouthpiece. It's very small. Now you keep your composure, okay? Stay smooth. Keep showing him everything. Take it round after round, okay? You landed some good shots, okay? Do not be in the corners. When you find yourself in the corners, keep turning out, okay? Use my stuff.
Let's see what opened this cut in the corner, the inside corner. Well, there was a butt right there. And we're going to take another look, and it's going to be a little clearer. Here it comes. Well, I'm sorry, that's reckless use of the head. And there's no doubt that that was caused by a butt. To reiterate the rule, if this fight doesn't go for, and the fight is stopped because of the cut, it would be a no decision.
And John Shorley with a stern warning from Edison Miranda just before the bell. Watch the head. Miranda now coming out with more fire. He was way too hesitant in the first round. Ward southpaw now. They didn't think he'd switch. You know, Miranda told us, yeah, he switches against mediocre guys. He's not going to do it against me. But again, on that lefty count, he did spar with Carlos Quintana and Daniel Santos from Puerto Rico. So it's got to help. Nice left hand. That's Ward's power punch.
Exactly, Nick, and I think that's why he's turned southpaw, because that's his best chance to hurt Miranda. His left hand is
and
lefty.
Right hand is Miranda's. Big shot. He's trying to land it now. Ward does not hold on. Now he grabs. And they wait for the break.
Well, Nick, we wanted to see Ward in a test. We wanted to see him challenged. We got it.
Yeah, I'm surprised Miranda even waited for the break. I thought he would just tear loose and keep going, but maybe he's going to pace himself to 12. He predicted 10 to you. And Steve, Ward feels that Miranda will start this fast. Oh, nice right hand. Such smooth transition for Ward. And maybe start to fade, but that's got to be partly due to Ward breaking him down. And Miranda's so squared up, and he comes in not punching and eats a right hand. Miranda's just waiting. His jab, finding nothing but air. Low blow. Surely out of his vision. So Miranda back to tactics, Steve. Doing everything we talked about wrong. Illegal, I should say.
What Ward's done very well this round, Nick, he's been very close to Miranda or very far away, but not within the Colombian's right-hand punching range.
And Steve, again, nothing subtle about Miranda. He's never going to be a boxer. Nice counteraction from Ward. Miranda says, bring it on, and Miranda, heavily muscled the way he is, a little clumsy. He's not the most fluid guy. And Ward certainly outboxing him, but he's getting respect, isn't he? Ward doing the wise thing. He shortened up and took away that right hand, but now he gets blocked with a short right hand and gets driven back with a left hook. Ward opens up. He's bleeding a little bit now, and Miranda barrels forward.
4 good right hands by Miranda in the last 20 seconds.
Miranda, tight defense, good second round. Digs a left to the body. Miranda stands and takes it. Good action to close out 2.
Oh boy, you clicking now. You clicking now. Good job. Get your breath. Look at me. Look at me. Great. Look at me. Do not let him push. Come back to yourself. Don't get caught up in the moment of this.
Edison Miranda, it's not just his punches. Some people think he should be putting gloves on his head because he uses that as a third arm, a third hand. There's another headbutt, something right now that Andre Ward cannot afford. No, you know, that's a low blow, as Nick called it, but Ward's left arm was around Miranda's neck, bringing Miranda down a little bit. And then the beginning of a series of right hands by Miranda. See, he's in within range there. Ward didn't see the punch coming. He handled it well, got hit with another right hand immediately, and then there were 2 more after that. Very close round. I gave it to Miranda.
Did that win a round for him?
Yeah, that was a close round because Ward did very well otherwise outside of those 4 right hands.
Round 3, excellent pace to this super middleweight fight. Nick Charles, Steve Farhood ringside. Oakland, California. Andre Ward unbeaten, untested as a pro until now. Edison Miranda's been to the well. He's failed with big championship bids, but he's been in with the best. Ward combination now. He's looking to the body. Excellent strategy offensively from Ward. A varied attack from him. Head, body, switching. We'll see if he goes back because, again, another warning about the head to Miranda. Now Ward getting on the stick. Boy, Miranda's just crude here. Just not fluid at all. And Ward just so much better as a boxer. It's so obvious that he could win the fight that way if he doesn't get hit flush, as you said. A big if.
That's what we're here to see. He has been hit flush. So far, he's handled it very well. He's a fighter whose chin has been in question. Down once in his career, Andre Ward. Miranda, on the other hand, nobody talks about his chin. He's been down at least 7 times.
Miranda tried to turn on that overhand right. Ward wasn't there. Ward will stand in front and fight. I'm very impressed, Steve. No running here. He's using the ring, but it's intelligently. Ward now in the neutral corner.
Stop. Rick, I got it.
Miranda's punch output has really dropped. It's like he can't find Ward, who goes southpaw again.
Stop.
John Shorley is going to get paid well for this. He's earning it. Miranda walks in, not punching, and Ward just fires off a combination.
And very important to mention, Nick, at this point, the cut does not seem to be a factor at all. I don't see any blood, do you?
No. Just a trickle, perhaps. Just a red line. Miranda trying again to tear Ward's head off with the right hand.
Ward's doing more boxing now than he did in round 2, and I think that's because he's not bleeding.
Excellent. And Miranda could say it all he wants, bring it on. He's getting hit, he's getting tagged, and he's losing this round. He's done nothing in the third. Ward has done a tremendous job boxing. And look, he's there in front of Miranda. Why isn't Miranda punching? Now trying to close the distance. And gets cracked with an overhand right. We'll see if Ward goes to the body again. We haven't seen Miranda do that much at all. Closing out a big round for Andre Ward. Oh, what a left hand! That seemed to jar Miranda.
Vamos bien. Oye, esta es la pelea de nosotros.
This is our fight.
El futuro de
This is our future. This is the future. You okay?
Vamos.
Let's
Esto
go.
es de guerrero, papá.
This is a warrior.
Pantera, el hombre está quedando.
The guy's
Sigue con el
staying.
jab, y él está esperando la derecha
The
arriba.
guy's waiting for the right.
Ponme
The
las
guy's waiting
manitas
for
por
him.
abajo.
Let's go
Ponme
down
las manos
low.
al
Let's go
cuerpo.
down low.
Okay.
Let's hit the body.
Si pone las manos abajo, vivo con las manos arriba.
If he
Y
puts
no
his
le
hands
regale
down,
nada.
hands up,
Está bien,
hands up.
No vamos a payasear, vamos serio.
Let's go. This is serious. All right.
Hombre no tiene nada.
The guy
Hombre
doesn't have
no tiene
anything.
nada, no tiene pegada, no tiene
The
nada.
guy don't got a punch. He doesn't
está
have anything.
quedando.
He's staying. He's running out of
Córtale el
gas.
paso, no lo siga.
Don't chase him.
To the fourth. I don't see Andre Ward running out of gas, Steve. That's a pep talk. Not yet.
On the other side of the equation, Miranda's been effective late in fights. He won the 12th round in the first Abraham fight, and he did a good job on Alan Green in the last round of their fight. So he's carried his power late.
But Ward was looking at the most revealing thing at 166 in the second Abraham fight. And that's the kind of Edison Miranda he thinks is in front of him tonight. We'll see. Miranda's got to pick it up. As we suggested, Jose Bonilla telling Miranda to go to the body. There, that big right hand landed, and Ward held on.
Stop.
That could have stung him.
Let's see if Miranda continues to jab his way in. Last round, he didn't do much of
He's
that.
walking right in, just walking in without punching.
Stop. Andre, don't do that. Don't hit me again.
And if Ward thinks Miranda's big shot is his right hand, he's better off fighting orthodox as opposed to southpaw. Much easier to get hit with a right hand if you're a lefty.
Yeah, get away from it easier.
I got you.
I don't like Miranda's work rate. His intensity just doesn't seem to be there. He's taking too many shots.
The range is being controlled by Ward big time right now, Nick, because when Miranda lets the right hand go, he's too far away.
And range and pace. I mean, he's absolutely dictating the pace this is fought at. Look at free shot after free shot. Now Miranda with a little bit of a flurry, but it's...
That was a telling moment right there. Ward got trapped in the corner and he pushed his way out. He used his physical strength.
Stronger than Miranda perhaps thought.
Right.
Now Ward fighting as we see him so often with that left so low. Why against a guy with a hellacious right hand?
As long as he's far on the outside, it's safe.
Yes.
But he has to be far out of range.
It's a bad habit to get into. Steve, Miranda doesn't seem to know what to do. I know he could change the fight with one shot.
Well, is he one-dimensional, Nick?
I think he is.
Right-hand shot.
I don't like his jab at all. I haven't seen a hook from him. He's not going to the body as they've asked. Now here again with a good bit of muscle display from Ward as he bodies Miranda away. Ward looking for an evening-ending shot. Miranda.
Pretty slick, but he did get hit to the body.
He got hit on the belt line.
See, Ward sees everything coming. There's no surprise for Miranda.
And now he's southpaw. And it's Miranda backing up. And Ward looks like he's breaking him down. Bad round from Miranda as he looked amateurish on that swing and a miss.
Keep it cool. All I want you to do is when you're along the ropes, you're settling down, along the ropes, make sure you have your hands up, okay, and move your feet, you understand? Okay, or straight arm. Do not stop there, okay? You're seeing everything, ain't you? Keep the jab working. Now keep feinting him and beating him to the punch. And remember, when you put the combinations together, don't hesitate, and then use your exits or small or step up in him. Give him some combinations, step up in him strong and balanced.
Steve, the double dilemma from Miranda, his offense has not flowed at all. And then he just leaves himself so exposed. Well, double whammy. And
yeah, I agree 100%, Nick, but what makes it worse is if he's going to get backed up. Then he has no shot at all.
Absolutely. Ward right down the middle, splits gloves. Miranda right in front. Now trying to put something together. There's a sense of desperation and maybe resignation could start sinking in. You'd never believe it with Edison Miranda, but he hasn't had an answer this fight.
Stop! I got you. Stop. Andre.
Ward
Stop.
shooting.
Stop.
Firing when he wants. Boxing, controlling action. Miranda just waiting.
Miranda's just not throwing. Now, Ward's in the pocket. I mean,
he's out of it. He just looks out of it to me, Steve. From the third round on. That said, he's a tremendous puncher.
Well, Ward has been very elusive. He's using a lot of different methods not to be in range, not to get hit by the right hand. Sometimes he's stepping back, other times he's stepping inside where it's actually safer.
Yeah, look at the fresh opportunities he creates right there. With the uppercut. Angles, and then he comes up punching. Miranda getting blitzed. Body shot. Ward just picking him off. Miranda.
Well, and if he's been reduced to trying to land one lucky right hand, it's worth noting that Andre Ward, among his strengths, is his focus. He's just not likely to get sloppy and do something stupid in round 9 or 10 to give Miranda a chance.
Very much agreed, Steve. Now Miranda walking forward but not firing. He's got the right hand cocked, but he really can't. Either trying to land there or a little right cross.
That was a perfect example of Ward stepping in as opposed to away from the right hand.
I think Miranda's trying to shorten up that right hand and land, but he's not closing distance intelligently at all. Ward to the body. Flurry before the bell. Show him the cheesemo, but nothing more. And Steve, that's an empty gun we're looking at. You better reload now.
Andre Ward showing a lot of diversity all of a sudden in his attack. A left uppercut, first time we saw that punch. And again, using different methods of defense, sliding away. He has been absolutely brilliant defensively. I know Miranda's not punching much, but ever since that second round, Ward has been virtually untouched. And here's the end of the round with Miranda square and on the ropes. Ward says, thank you very much. I'll accept the invitation. Nothing else Miranda can do but make it a macho thing.
Está bien. Sale la finta también. Oye, combinación, no tiene un solo golpe.
Got combinations, not one. one punch.
Well, that's it, Steve. He's got to start punching. He's got to start punching and then hope he could land something on a very evasive, skilled boxer who's not afraid to stand with him in the pocket and slug at times. But he's just got so many more dimensions, Andre Ward, and it's showing more and more as the rounds dial on.
And maybe the most important dimension he showed was the ability to overcome a little bit of adversity, because he was cut early, he had a rocky second round, and now he's in total control.
Good point. Ward slips away from the ropes. Miranda trying to get on the jab now. But look, even when he has Ward on the ropes, he lets him off. Steve, there's no offensive game plan here from Edison Miranda. And Ward has been masterful.
Stop! 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 Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Miranda high with the jab, very little on it. Nice counter shot from Miranda. He's bust punch in a few rounds.
Again, look at Ward staying inside. He knows it's safe in there. He can't get hit by the big right hand.
And he's landing, too. Miranda's power is smothered. And Ward asserts himself physically again. Wow. Buries a body shot. And it's Miranda getting driven back into the neutral corner. And it's Ward looking like the more physical guy.
Right. I got
And Nick, it's this simple. The bully's getting bullied.
That's it. Steve, I can't say I was totally expecting more. I was definitely hoping for more from Edison Miranda in terms of being more competitive. Where he hasn't been reduced to, I've got to hit a home run. Ward using the ring. He's going to try to run Miranda into a shot here. He did with the uppercut 2 rounds ago. Inside a minute to go to the halfway mark. Will it go 12? Miranda, the guy with the guts who would take me out on the Shield personality and demeanor, we'll see. He's got to get into this fight. Right hand landed from Miranda.
And right back, Ward, right back.
Now Ward's swelling a little bit, it looks, left eye. He gets hit with a right again from Miranda. So a wake-up call as Miranda cuts loose.
How much more of that does Miranda have? He's going to need more. First 2 good right hands he's landed in, what, 4 rounds?
Absolutely. Boy, but look at, he's swollen a little bit too. Cheekbone, above the left eye. Those right hands have landed from Andre Ward.
And this is where the crowd comes into play. Maybe Ward needs a little boost, and he's getting it from the crowd.
Now he just muscled Miranda. End of 6. And hope you're enjoying this from Oakland, California. A 12-round super middleweight fight. We're at Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. Our Showbox Saturday night special main event. Very vocal fight crowd here. Watching hometown hero Andre Ward have it mostly his way. How do you have it, Steve?
59-55 for Ward. I've given Miranda only the second round.
I have it the same way.
When you end the thing, do not lose sight of him. You understand? With your head turning away and stuff. You hear me? Don't lose sight of him.
Action from round 6. You see Ward getting low. And he's going to fire that left hand. That's a beautiful shot, taking advantage of the fact that Miranda was low as well. But Andre Ward, Nick pointed it out, that left eye is definitely swollen.
And as you said, Steve, Stitch Duran in the corner, the right guy to be there for Andre Ward.
How valuable is a good cut man? I think we've seen it in this fight.
You don't want to cheap out in that department, do you?
No. We got sprayed by sweat there as Miranda threw that big right hand.
All right, Miranda's got to rev it up.
Is he revitalized? He looks it right now, but can he maintain it?
Look, he's got to know he's hopelessly behind. He had his moments there, landing those right hands in the 6th round. Ward's got to take that momentum away. If he could blunt that momentum right now, Miranda's back in a fix. But Steve, what should Miranda start doing?
For starters,
throw shots.
Well, of course, but for starters, it would be, it's imperative that he come forward. It's hard because Ward is using a lot of lateral movement, but he's got to come forward, and he has a better chance of landing the right hand if he starts with the jab.
Well, you know, when he was in against punchers, I mean, Arthur Abraham took so many of his shots late in the woods and then came back and nailed them big time. Kelly Pavlik elected to slug with him and got hit a lot. Ward's fighting a better fight than any of those opponents, I feel.
What Miranda needs to do.
Nice switch, and the left hand lands. That transition from Ward, I'm so impressed how that flow happens. He shortens that distance, and he's right there with the left. Oh, Miranda, neutral corner, is getting ripped on uppercuts, and there's a blatant butt in front of the referee. Let's listen. Well, let him go.
See, when Ward falls in to get inside where it's safer, that's when Miranda's got to fire the right hand. So maybe if you can feint to draw Ward in and shorten up that right hand, he might have a chance to land.
Ward has done a good job fighting, backing up. He's drilled Miranda with that jab right hand. Now Miranda getting with the rough stuff. He's in his own corner.
Andre, right here, baby. Right here, right here.
They got to come up with a plan in the blue corner. Miranda's won charitably around. And he stopped punching again.
Let him go, let him go, let him go.
Ward picks up the cue.
Stop! Right.
Ward's taken every opportunity there is, Steve. He hasn't let one go by, I think. Left hook.
Oh, boy, Ward is zeroing in.
Right.
You know, when we first had him on, he said to us, Nick, I don't really have a style. And I know what he means because he's doing a lot of different things, both offensively and defensively, and they're almost all working.
Well, that's multi-dimension. And that could start to label this guy a potential brain. I use that very carefully. We're through 7. Andre Ward having his way with Edison Miranda.
You're just paying attention to that right. You got to change it up. When you're attacking, just give him a space back so you can let the hand go. You got to change it. You're waiting and you're just shitting on yourself. Hit him with the right and keep your left up. Don't chase him. You got to hit him. We got to go after him. We're down. We're down. You got to hit him. Don't go after him. You got to hit him.
Better believe he's down. But he may not have to chase because Ward is there from all different angles and such. It's not like he's ever run around, is it, Steve? He's been in the right place all night.
Excellent.
Looks like the stronger guy, Steve.
He's pushing Miranda around, and he's the only one landed body punch.
Yeah.
But excellent game plan by Ward. Excellent. Give Virgil Hunter a lot of credit as trainer. I love the way he's gotten inside when it was the place to be and derail the big right hand of Miranda that way, as well as moving laterally and being far away.
And then turning, using that aggression. Miranda's had to rethink, restart all night. Left hook lands from Ward, and the crowd gets into it. Miranda's soaking up shots. Nobody's saying they're knockout shots, but the accumulation blows. Now it's Ward inside with that hook to the body, tries the uppercut. He's letting everything go, a little elbow action. Shortening up with shots, and Miranda's not holding on, but he's taking punishment. Look who's the stronger guy, Steve, again.
Well, why are they fighting on the inside? Because Ward wanted it. He pushed Miranda back.
And he clocks him with a left hook. Now he goes to come southpaw, perhaps out of it, yes. And a left to the body. So Ward mugging Edison Miranda. Miranda trying to get a little distance, but it's 5-1 and punches.
Miranda's nickname is Pantera, the Panther. Right now, Andre Ward's turning the Panther into a pussycat.
Let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go.
Now Ward's fighting a different fight this round. We haven't seen this. He's been in Miranda's face the entire round. This is where he wants to make statements, Steve. You know, it sounds so cliche, I want to make a statement tonight. He has. He's done everything offensively. Without being any of this, he's not a single shot artist.
Stop, stop.
Boy, Miranda, you can see it in his eyes.
Stop.
He's getting tamed.
Okay,
He really
you.
is.
I
He's
know.
getting
You're
tamed.
reaching in and grabbing him.
Very humbling.
Let him go, man. Let him go.
A little role reversal. The more rugged guy has been Ward.
Absolutely.
Let him go. Quite clean in there.
This must-win situation's turning into a nightmare for Edison Miranda.
Sit down and breathe. We're ready to go to work now. You breaking his heart. You feeling comfortable there? Okay. I need you to be intelligent and watch out for the uppercuts and you're smothering your punches sometime, you hear me? Keep digging the shots in every now and then. Take a deep breath, take that little small half step back, come with the uppercut and the hook, you hear me? When he's in there, he don't have no power on his punches because he's tired of doing it.
Action from round 8. If this doesn't tell the whole story of the fight, Miranda got hit with the first left hook there because his right hand was low. His corner's been telling him to keep his hands up. And here's another left hand. See, Ward wants to make it physical and grueling right now.
He's starting to wear down. Okay, come on now, be smart.
That's a lot of grease.
Round 9 in Oakland. Andre Ward, unbeaten, the last American boxer to win a Olympic gold medal. Edison Miranda has been in wars, and he's getting beaten and bruised in this one. Left hook from Ward as he uses Miranda's aggression against him.
See, Ward's
that turn, wow.
That's it. He's got the ability to move backwards, stop, and throw a punch very quickly when his opponent isn't expecting it because he's seeing lateral movement.
Just fresh angles, fresh opportunities.
Stop.
He's just making things available. Beautiful fight from Andre. Because he's gotten respect from Miranda. He's made him think twice. He's befuddled him, Steve. Now Miranda going after him. Very little on Miranda's shots. That right hand was good. Ward elects to tie up again.
Is Miranda still dangerous? I don't know the answer to that. I don't want to say he isn't, because one punch can turn a fight, but I talked earlier about how he carries his power into the later rounds. I'm not so sure in this fight.
And again, you go back to those tremendous wars that he lost to Abraham, to Pavlik. He's looking like an old 28 now, Steve. On the transition there and on that turn, it's Ward drilling him with the left hand. Ward could have been rattled early with that cut. He really wasn't. He has dominated this fight. Oh, Miranda looks like he got rocked back. He's backing up. The crowd senses he's hurt. He's really going for it. His legs look a little wobbly, Steve.
I agree.
Por favor.
And you know how much Ward wants a knockout.
Let's see if he goes
trains
after
for
it.
a knockout.
Yep. He's not getting out of that comfort zone, though. He's laid enough on Miranda to win this round, to turn him and tie him in knots,
Let him go.
to completely nullify his offense. See, I got to tell you, it's just Miranda doesn't know how to deal with Ward. There's too much coming at him, too many different things. Miranda soaks up a combination. And the crowd starting to sense it could end sooner than 12.
Thank you.
Oíste, el 10.
El 10,
Ese hombre
the 10.
está muerto, Potro.
This guy's
Pero
dead.
tiene que sacar las manos cortitas.
You just gotta get those hands.
Un tablazo.
You gotta hit
Saca
him
las
with a big
manos, lleguen
shot.
cortas, ¿está bien?
Don't worry.
Está muerto, Bandera.
The
Busca
guy's
espacio con el
dead.
paso
Come
atrás
on.
para que tu mano pueda salir, ¿está bien?
Look for the space so your hands can come out.
Los 3 minutos del round.
You got to fight
Oye,
3 minutes around.
métele por todos lados, está esperando a la derecha, dame esa mano izquierda. Abajo, arriba, arriba, abajo. para todos.
Action from round 9. For the first time in this fight, Ward's landed the kind of shots that makes you think he could stop Miranda. You see those flush shots, some of them landing with Miranda's hands by his waist. Ward can just walk Miranda onto his punches now.
To the 10th. Edison Miranda hopelessly behind. And Steve, you know, he's a power puncher. But the big difference between what he wants to do, and that's land a power punch, what he needs to do to land a knockout blow, and what he can do at this point. I don't know if he's got it in him anymore.
I know. Don't retaliate, brother.
Oh, Ward on the way out with a left hook. Rings Miranda's bell and sure woke him up. He's throwing more shots now, but here he is walking in, hands down, just measuring with the ineffective jab all night.
Let him go.
Steve, I can't remember the last combination Miranda threw and landed.
He's done plenty of missing, though.
Rick, I got it.
And you know, Steve, it's those power shots. He's not trying to take him out, Ward, but it's not like he's sticking the jab in his face all the time. You just see an opening and take it. Lead right hand, left hook.
Miranda just fired a big overhand right, but Ward saw it coming and turned away and made it miss.
Look at Ward with the forearm shiver there, so he's roughing up Miranda. 3 hands. Watch Ward, it's not always off the jab. He's looking to just land big shots.
I like the rough and tough Andre Ward, you know.
Right.
It's a dimension we haven't seen even when he was fighting fighters of less quality.
See, there's the power shots. Forget about the jab. I know it could be a little sloppy, and he doesn't need to do that, but he's just getting free shots, Steve.
Let him go. Stop.
Miranda just looks out of his league.
Let him go, Andre. Let him go the other side.
He called Ward a good amateur and a bad pro.
Stop.
Miranda, who's looking like an amateur in this fight.
Stop the holding.
It's not like I'm disparaging the guy. I just expected more, unless we're looking at a guy on the way down. But that takes nothing away from what Andre Ward is doing. He's taking him apart.
Yeah, I put it the same way, Nick, because if we don't say that Miranda was semi-washed up before the fight, it's not fair to say it now.
There's a push.
No knockdown. Come on, baby. Come here. Are you okay? Okay.
That lateral movement is driving Miranda crazy.
Break. Stop.
To the southpaw, showing different looks.
Andre
okay?
Ward enjoying the action.
Stay alert from the uppercuts, okay? Showing the southpaw. Different looks, but the southpaw is killing it. And put those shots into him, keep boxing him. Pinpoint, don't try to knock him out. Beat him up. Beat him up.
No detengas, no detengas. No holding.
Now to the 11th. You heard Virgil Hunter stay the southpaw. You're killing him that way, and Ward comes out that way for the first time.
Let him go. Let him go in there. Let him go in there. Let him go in there. Stop. Break.
Ward's best chance of a KO, walking Miranda onto one of those left hands.
It's a little late to try to figure out what Ward's doing. Miranda on the turn with the right hand now. Ward is faster. He's willing to engage Miranda. He's won the inside battle.
He's been stronger on the inside that we would not have expected.
Stop.
He is showing a lot to the world tonight on Showbox. Taking shots, taking punishment, not gathering up any kind of offense. We talked about him being the most threatening proposition Ward's ever looked at. Ward has dealt with it just fine.
Miranda might as well put a message in the mail that he's going to throw that right hand. Because it is so telegraphed at this point.
I got you.
You know, Kelly Pavlik beat Miranda by backing him up. Nobody knew he could do that. Arthur Abraham did it his way. Ward's doing it an entirely different way that we haven't seen. And it's working just as effectively.
Oh, inside out, running around this ring.
Stop.
Miranda comes in, gloves up. Nothing coming at Ward. Ward is still southpaw. So now he'll use the ring. Tries that left hand, but doesn't want to get careless. Action slows here in the 11th.
You gotta let him go, man. You're holding on that side.
Miranda looking to line up the right hand, but he's
2 hands, Frank.
waiting to pull the trigger, but the gun's not in the holster anymore.
Ward's landed a lot of flush punches, Nick, in the last half of the fight. You have to wonder, he doesn't seem to be that big a puncher. He's still a boxer. He's able to land a lot of different kind of shots.
Steve, a puncher would have had Miranda out of here by now.
Yeah, like a Pavlik or an Abraham.
Yes.
That's not Ward's way.
Ward has outclassed him, outboxed him. He's been magnificent, I think. We both agree as we have one to go here in Upland.
Last round. Hold it strong for me, okay? Keep confusing him, but he's coming to you, okay? He's coming right to the southpaw. When you move in position, take the time and throw that punch. Don't reach for him and put that punch right down the pipe, okay? And bring.
You gotta go.
Guerrero.
You're a warrior.
Tranquilo.
Just relax.
Date la derecha, dame la izquierda.
Hit him with the left, hit him with the right.
Stuff, you hear me? Dig down deep like you never have. Dig down deep and give him the left.
Vaya. Un round, papi.
Last one. We're ready. Let's go.
It's been one-sided. It's been entertaining. Andre Ward is all grown up, Steve, as a pro. Class will tell. Miranda's got to throw everything at him. That's all Bonilla could tell him in the corner. But Ward is not going out cautiously. He's firing.
Stop. Break.
Combinations. Miranda looking for that huge right hand. It's his only hope.
No. Stop. Break.
Ward hasn't switched in this round so far. He's switched in almost every round.
Let him go, let him go.
And been effective doing it.
Andre, let him go, let him go. There we go.
Safe to say, Nick, the 168-pound division has
Let him go, Andre.
Got
a
even
new
better.
member of the top 10 and gotten even better.
Let him go.
You have Ward, you have
Angus.
Durrell.
Let him
They're
go,
the
let him
two
go,
young
let him go.
guys coming up. And this division, it just gets better with each fight.
Stop, stop, right. Last round, fellas, last round.
Yes, and the missing in action, Mikkel Kessler, may not be head of the class anymore. There's some guns here. Carl Froch and Lucien Boutet. And this guy, Andre Ward, as Edison Miranda is about to fall from the Legion of Elite.
Stop. Break.
It hasn't always been pretty, Nick, for Ward. There have been times where he's grabbed and held as he just did. And to Miranda's credit, he has come forward pretty much the whole fight. Totally ineffectively, granted, but see him now, he's still chasing.
Minute to go.
Watch your feet, watch your feet. No, let him break.
Miranda's got to tear himself away and throw punches till he can't throw anymore. Throw just to throw, Steve.
Yeah, he's still a fighter in his heart, Nick, but in his head it seems like he's forgotten how to be a fighter.
It's what he needs to do, but what he can do, exactly. And he just can't seem to throw.
Stop. Listen to me.
Here's the finish in Oakland. Edison Miranda and Andre Ward. A revealing 12-round super middleweight fight.
A fitting finish, Nick. Miranda misses the right hand, Ward counters with a left. Kind of tells the whole story.
So 119, 109.
Yep, exactly.
Totally academic. It was a matter of class. Let's see the show of respect finally.
And Ward is class in and out of the ring, Nick. No doubt about that. It's refreshing to see an athlete. Very spiritual man.
Absolutely. He is completely centered, Steve.
Yeah, good person outside the ring. And
Get this cut real quick.
He's answered the critics tonight. He answered the critics by taking this fight, and he punctuated the point by dominating this fight. The beaten warrior. He's full of guts. He has unquestioned heart and determination, but couldn't match the skill set of Andre Ward, not by a long shot, and that's just what he needed. Never landed that vaunted right with any kind of regularity. Andre Ward, I think, a stunning performance tonight. Talk about his composure, his patience, Steve, and I know all that stuff sounds boring, but he never got out of the fight. He never got shook. As you said, never got rattled. That cut the first round.
that was it. That was the only time in the fight that Miranda was in the fight, Nick. And you know what? Andre Ward won this fight using a lot of different styles, frustrating Miranda, and then using offense in a variety of ways. And you see Miranda, he's a right-hand happy fighter. That's his punch. He did land that right hand a few times early. The fact that Ward stood up to it may have taken a little bit of the fight out of Miranda. And then once Miranda's reduced to the macho games of hitting himself in the chest to show how much heart he has, you know Andre Ward had him right where he wanted him. And what was perhaps most unsettling for Miranda was the fact that Ward not only outboxed him from a distance, but shoved him around, pushed him into the corners, pushed him against the ropes, and was actually the stronger, more aggressive guy on the inside. That was a surprise.